friends, I am Antika and in this video I will be discussing about Ectocarpus, the sexual reproduction of Ectocarpus. Ectocarpus is one of the simplest brown algae and already I have been making videos on Ectocarpus. In the part 1 of the video I have dealt with the overview of what type of algae Ectocarpus is, its habitat, its global distribution, its basic characteristic, its morphology and ecological and economic importance. In the second part I have been dealing with the asexual reproduction of Ectocarpus, and in this video, that is the third part of Ectocarpus series, I will be dealing with the sexual reproduction. Soon I'll be also making another video about how Ectocarpus is a model organism to study the various physiological processes as well as the genetics in the brown algae. Just because Ectocarpus is very small in size and its entire genome is sequenced and it is much smaller in size, so it is very easy to manipulate and observe the various reactions and various analysis can be easily done on Ectocarpus. So Ectocarpus is a model organism to study various mechanisms in brown algae. So I'll be soon making a video on that how Ectocarpus is a model organism. But for now, this is the sexual reproduction of Ectocarpus I'll be talking about today. So today I'll be talking about the sexual reproduction of Ectocarpus. But before I go to the sexual reproduction, I should be just doing a rewind. The life cycle of Ectocarpus, it is haplodiplontic, which means that its life cycle has both haploid gametophytic generation and sporophytic generation. In the last video, that is the part 2 of the video where I have done the Ectocarpus part 2 video where I have talked about the sporophytic generation, and the sporophytic generation has two functions. One is increasing the number of sporophyte by asexual reproduction by the plurilocular sporangia that produces diploid spores which germinate to increase the number of sporophytes. And the second function is that it has unilocular sporangia which produces haploid spores. The haploid spores germinate to produce the gametophyte. So this is the production of the gametophyte is the second function of the sporophytic generation. So the gametophyte, once they are formed, they undergo division and they increase in size, and after a threshold, if there is an alternation in the temperature of water, they start producing the gametes. Now, gametophyte, they have a very low sexual dimorphism, which means that in case of physiological and morphological anisogamous, that is a heterothallic species, there is low level of sexual dimorphism, that is we cannot distinguish the two forms of Ectocarpus, the two opposite forms of Ectocarpus species. So this gametophyte, they produces gamete in the gametangia, the elongated conical structure called the plurilocular gametangia. The plurilocular gametangia, as we see in this picture, this gametangia, it looks similar to the plurilocular sporangia. But nevertheless, the gametangia, it produces gametes that is the haploid spores, haploid gametes, and it is born on the haploid gametophyte plant. So plurilocular sporangia born on sporophyte and plurilocular gametangia, they are born on the gametophytic plant, that is the haploid plant. So you should not confuse the gametangia from the sporangia, though they might look similar but their function is different. One is in sexual reproduction, that is a gametangia is in sexual reproduction, and plurilocular sporangia is in asexual reproduction. So the terminal cell, we know that the ectocarpus, it has got a rhizoid system, and then prostate, and an erect system, and any of the terminal branches, the lateral branches, this is the lateral branches, the terminal cell of the lateral branches, what it does is it enlarges in size. Once the terminal cell, it enlarges its size, it starts gathering a large number of chromatophores. The terminal cell increases the number of chromatophore, which undergoes a large amount of photosynthesis, and they store huge amount of food. Once the threshold of the food and nutrient that is required for a large number of divisions that is needed to produce the gamete, so it is threshold for production of this type of cell division, that is crossed, that is they have abundant amount of nutrient to support the many divisions is meet, then it starts dividing. So divisions, they are first transverse and then vertical. So what happens is that the terminal cell, say for example the terminal cell, this is the terminal cell, it undergoes transverse division first, and then after a series of transverse division they have vertical divisions. So it looks like a tire of cells, usually 24 to 40 20 to 40 cells, that is the formed, and gradually the cells, they metamorphose into gametes. The gametes, they look like the zoospores, but they are of haploid nature. So that every of this terminal cell, each of this terminal cell, they form the gametes. They are biflagellate. They have a single nucleus. They have biflagellate, that is, one, the terminal is the front is the anterior, it has flimmer hairs, that is it has two flagella, that is, one is the whiplash, another is the tinsel. So it has, the anterior is tinsel, the posterior is whiplash, and the gamete, it is, I have drawn it wrong, it will be pyriform. So the gamete is pyriform, it has two flagella. The tinsel flagella, that is this one, this tinsel flagella, that is anteriorly placed, it is responsible for the movement. Actually, it is responsible for the swimming, all the swimming motion. And the posterior flagella, that is this posterior flagella, this we see, it is this posterior flagella, it is a whiplash type. It drags off and is not responsible for much of the swimming movement. So this gamete has two flagella, the anterior tinsel, posterior whiplash flagella. It has got pyriform, we see it has got a pyriform structure, and it has got chromatophores. This pyriform structure, and this one is the chromatophore, the chromatophore envelope and chromatophore with pyrenoid, that is stored food material, and the nucleus here, and many other organelles, say for example mitochondria, they have Golgi vesicles, they have dictosomes. So all these organelles are present, and the nucleus contains mostly heterochromatin. That is the case, that is they have a very condensed nucleus, so they have this heterochromatin, and they have other organelles also. And this is pretty much how the gamete of Ectocarpus looks. And one thing I forgot to tell is the eye spot. So they have a eye spot. We know that in any of the algae, eye spot is just a photoreceptive organ. It has carotenoid pigment that is responsible for the photoreception, and it as it traps the light, it is getting excited by the light. It moves towards. It helps in the movement. Eye spot help in the location of direction of light. So this is all how the gamete of Ectocarpus looks. So the Ectocarpus, it undergoes three type of reproduction. That is, one is the isogamy, where the gametes they are physiologically as well as morphologically similar, and that is as because they are physiologically and morphologically similar, they they can be homothallic, and that is there for the if any homothallic means that if the gametes that are produced from the same organism can meet and fuse together to form a new plant. On the other hand, in isogamy, we see that this Ectocarpus has physiological anisogamy and morphological anisogamy. In physiological anisogamy, the gametes, they look much similar. That is, morphologically they are similar, but they uh, they are, but they are not homothallic. That is, they have certain a certain opposite, they have to fuse with some opposite strains. That is, they should not be from the same plant. That is, they are heterothallic. So this, they are heterothallic. So this physiological anisogamy, they have morphologically similar, but physiologically it is different. And this is found in Ectocarpus siliculosus, which is a very common lab Ectocarpus species that is studied. And the morphological anisogamy, as the name suggests, we know that they are a bit different in their looks, and they are also heterothallic. That is, they have to be produced from different plants of Ectocarpus. And here the gametes, they look physiologically also different, maybe in different in size or different in shape. So this is morphological anisogamy. So whether it is isogamy or anisogamy, it happens that the female gamete, it produces this female gamete, it produces a substance, a chemical attractant, that is the ectocarpin. I forgot to write it. It is ecto. The Ectocarpus female gamete, it produces ectocarpin. This ectocarpin is it is sensed by the male gamete, and it moves towards the female gamete by chemotaxis. So this chemotactic movement of the male gametes, they are attracted by the ectocarpin that is produced by the female gamete, and they cluster together around the female gamete. They put forward their tinsel flagella on the plasma membrane of the female gamete, and one of them fuses. So this entire clustering, this phenomena of clustering around of the male gamete around the female gamete, it is called clump formation. This is called clump formation. So after clump formation is done, one of the male gamete fuses with the female gamete, and so this is how the clump formation occurs, and then this is how the fusion between the gametes is seen. We see, and this is how they start losing the flagella, and this is how they are germinating. So the pheromones that is the ectocarpin, and apart from that, if there is no fusion, if the gamete do not meet its opposite partner, if it meets the opposite partner, then obviously this zygote will be formed, and which later produces there will be fusion of the zygote and a diploid sporophytic generation is produced. But if the gamete do not meet, then what happens is that the gamete develop into a haploid plant first, then the haploid plant undergoes endo-reduplication to produce a parthenosporophyte. So any gamete that does not meet its opposite partner produces a parthenosporophyte by endo-reduplication. That is, this phenomena is called heteroblasty. So this is one important feature in Ectocarpus. So Ectocarpus has a life cycle that is asexual. It has asexual reproduction, it has sexual reproduction, as well as it has parthenogenesis also. So three type of alternative mode in Ectocarpus. So this heteroblasty is a very important topic because so that was all about the sexual reproduction of Ectocarpus. In case you haven't watched the earlier two videos, that is, which depends which tells about the asexual reproduction of Ectocarpus and the morphology and its ecological economic importance, do watch the first two videos of Ectocarpus, that is a part 1 and part 2. And if you are new to this channel, do subscribe, and if you liked this video, then do share it with your friends, and write any comments about the video or any other things that you want me to make any video on, and do write it in the comment section. And in the next video, it will be about the importance of Ectocarpus as a model organism for various studies that is based on the brown algae. So thanks again for watching this video.